Well, I mean, it's part of a pattern, despite the evidence that we have from, including British intelligence, that Russia is really is in an operational pause before it resumes its attack in the Donbass. While it's true of its ground troops, of its some of its weaponry. The shelling of towns and cities in Donbass continues, and the fact that a lot of these hit residential areas and kill a lot of people speaks to the fact that Russia is probably running out of its precision weaponry, and it's increasingly relying on its Soviet-era stock of very crude weapons. In many cases, they're banned under UN conventions, and this is part of a pattern. What we saw in Chavis Yar, we're seeing throughout Ukraine from the beginning of the war. And let me just say, by contrast, what Ukraine is doing now, we're seeing these reports in the last couple of hours. It hit yet another weapon stockpile in one of the towns in the south of Ukraine, in the Kherson region. Ukraine has not, followed that same pattern that Russia has. It's relying on, Western supplied weaponry, including HIMARS, from the United States, which allow it to target very precisely military objects in occupied territories.
Viktor Olevich, is Russia running short of precision weapons right now and using older weapons that may not be as accurate as more modern weapons?
Well, Russia has not run out of precision-guided weapons. At this point, Russia is using a combination of various weapon systems. It's important to remind the viewers that the Ukrainian army has attacked that city of Donetsk for years. And in fact, even since this special military operation began on February 24th, several hundred people have died, several hundred civilians have died in Donetsk under Ukrainian missile strikes and artillery strikes. So when we talk about civilian infrastructure damage or civilian casualties, we have to talk about that on both sides. Russia is not purposefully targeting civilians on the Ukrainian side. But when we take into account the scale of military action, it is almost impossible to have military action on this scale without casualties, without civilian casualties on either side. So this is not just something that is happening on one side. And unfortunately, the longer this military conflict drags on, the more civilian casualties and other casualties there will be.